Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy: How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is about why most people are mistyped when it comes to personality types. And I've been doing typing for a few years now. And time again, I'm surprised as to why most people can't identify which even of the four main personality types they are. And so I think that there are a few reasons why this happens. First, about 80% of people, adults in North America, probably suffer from some kind of mental health issue, whether it's depression, anxiety, ADHD, and so forth. And obviously, if someone has this type of emotional issue, it's difficult for them to see themselves objectively. So, in other words, obviously, you need to be calm, collected, and let's say if you read those four main personality types, okay, well, yes, this is who I am. The person might wonder, okay, is it because I'm this personality type, or is it due to my mental illness that I have these characteristics? Which one is it? So that is one of the main issues that I've come across. I don't know about other uh, populations on this planet, but it seems that from my point of view, what I've gathered over time is that in North America, mental health issues are that prevalent in the adult population. Now, the other aspect is that most people have insecurities and they tend to believe that they are the intuitive, so the smaller group, because people want to feel special. So obviously, if life is very difficult, you don't want to be told on top of that, oh, you're very ordinary. So people like to know that they excel in one particular field. They are, in a sense, unique. So most people, when they type themselves, usually believe that they are the intuitives, or in my personality type, I call them the conceptualist, versus being a sensor in the MBTI, which will equate to being a realist in my test. Let's take, for example, the INFJ in the MBTI, which is the rarest of all the personality types, and compare it to the ISFJ, which is essentially the sensor version of the INFJ. And if you look at the functions, is that they both are the judger type, so they're both the organized type. They both have their second function is extrovert feeling, and also they are the type to have their thinking function is their third function, just introverted thinking. So obviously, when a person reads the description of the INFJ, they can see a number of characters are the same as the ISFJ. And obviously, if you have obviously a bias toward being the unique one, you're going to say, well, I'm probably the INFJ. So that's why I find it's very tricky for people to know which one, because if you look at the personality types, you have 8 types that are essentially the intuitive version of the sensors. So, in other words, in the Truth and Empathy questionnaire, you have the realist have essentially the same functions, but the only difference is that one function is changed to become and the conceptualist, or in the MBTI, the intuitives. So these functions look very much the same. And so far, I find that few people understand the difference between someone who is the sensor, the realist type, versus an intuitive, or the conceptualist in my personality type. And how I was able to differentiate the both is that it has to do with their brainwave dominance. So, in other words, if someone is a conceptualist, they have slower brain waves, and also it reflects into their resting breathing rate. So that's how people can truly make the difference by some kind of objective physiological marker, because most people can't tell the difference. The other aspect when it comes to typing yourself is that people go online and answer just a few questions and think, oh, well, I must be that. So the way the questionnaire is designed, you can easily be misled. Answering, okay, am I more, let's say, an introvert versus extrovert? I think it should be designed in a way that when we say that a person is an introvert, they should say, okay, 80% of the time I like to be totally alone or only with one or two individuals to recharge my batteries. I think that if we use the 20-80 sort of rule, it's easier to people to understand. For example, if I said to someone, you know what, when it comes to let's say intimacy, do you like to spend 10 or 20 hours per week interacting with your mate? I mean, that says, it's very clear if whether or not this is what you like to do for weeks and months on end. So people understand that when we talk about these different personality types, it's not a slight difference, it's an exaggerated difference. For example, let's see, if you look at the optimist, or in my personality type, versus which would be the sensor perceivers at MBTI, versus, let's say, if you're a rationalist, just the aspect of long attention span. People understand that if you are, let's say, like Einstein or Newton, I mean, you can literally just sit down and just focus on one question, like for hours and hours, and not interact with anybody for weeks and months on end. Now, if let's say you are the sensor perceiver type, you'll easily get bored. You want something new. So I don't think people understand the extent to which these personality types really are different when you look at them long term. In other words, it's not a slight difference that makes these personality types unique. And I would say that there is the other aspect of maybe not finding someone who can really test and really ask the right questions, because I've been typed myself, and it was clear that I mean, for me, I did not get the right answer, because the person giving the test really has to understand all these subtleties about these personality types. So you need someone who's very qualified, and I don't think that most people have that level of understanding of these personality types in real life, not only on paper, but how do they come across if you were to interact with them. Um, and the other aspect also, I'd say that it's, if you want someone who's really good at typing you, is the person able to feel your energy. Interesting enough, depending on your personality type, you don't give up the same vibration. So that alone can help you determine a person's true personality type. And I think that most assessors maybe have not been trained to do that as well. So these were aspects that of this issue that I think have not been explored, maybe in other videos. And I trust that this was informative. If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.